Well, the president's immigration order facing a key legal test as the Justice Department gets ready to file additional arguments to restate that ban. That later on this afternoon. In the meantime, people who were briefly stranded, well, now we're told they're rushing to enter our country while they can.
I think people are still nervous because it's not over yet. It's just a temporary restraining order.
The vetting process is already very thorough, and there's no need to create this fear, to create this confusion.
I fear ISIS. That's my greatest fear.
All right, Judge Andrew Napolitano is Fox News senior judicial analyst. Let's talk about this latest ruling first that came down. The judge says that he believes that the opposition to the executive order is going to prevail in the end. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with it, Melissa. I think that the judge, and I'm trying to read between the lines because he didn't give a legal opinion along with his order, but I think he's second-guessing the wisdom and the justice, if you will, of the executive order. The reason I say that is because of some language he used in the brief oral argument before him, in which he questioned whether or not evil people have come into the United States who've caused harm from the 7 countries that President Trump excluded. He should have instead questioned to the plaintiffs, who are 2 states of the Union, Minnesota and Washington. They're not people trying to get in the country. They're states suing in behalf of people trying to get in the country. He should have said, and this is what the Ninth Circuit, I think, will say when they hear oral argument later today in California, what are you doing here? Because the Constitution requires that plaintiffs be people who are actually harmed or in immediate likelihood of harm are appropriate candidates to bring a lawsuit, particularly against the President of the United States, rather than intermediaries. So that's where I think the focus of the Ninth Circuit inquiry will be later today.
Yeah, so talk to us more about what comes next.
Well, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the intermediate appellate court for the 15 westernmost states of the United States, going all the way out to Alaska and Hawaii, ordered briefs to be filed today. When they decided not to interfere with the trial judge, Judge Robart's order, the reason they gave is, we don't know enough about this, so we want the government to tell us their version, and we want the plaintiffs, the state of Washington and the state of Minnesota, to tell us their version. Those versions are 2/3 in, and the final version is due at 3 o'clock this afternoon Pacific time. I think by 6 o'clock today Pacific time, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will rule on just this one issue. Was it proper for Judge Robart, sitting in Seattle, to prevent the effect of this executive order signed by the President of the United States? If the answer is yes, then the ban on the executive order will stay in place while Judge Robart, there he is on the right of your screen, will actually hold a trial. If the answer is no, then the ban that the President put in place will be back in place while Judge Robart holds a trial.
Either way, I mean, we get the next phase of this tonight, but it's not going to be over at that point.
No,
right?
no, it's not going to be over. If the executive order is still prevented from being enforced, you'll see a trial very, very quickly. But if the executive order is being enforced while Judge Robart holds a trial, well, he's probably going to take his time. Bear in mind, Melissa, there are 4 cases throughout the U.S. The Chief Justice should probably consolidate all of them before one judge so that these judges are not each reinventing the wheel. So the entire dispute can be resolved in one place at one time before one judge and in one courtroom. That's the economic way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But what's the likelihood that that would happen?
The Chief Justice Roberts has been very good about doing that for cases that are substantially similar and filed in different places in the country. So you have one in Brooklyn, one in Boston, one in Alexandria, Virginia, and this one in Seattle that we're all focused on.
If you were a betting man, what do you think the outcome is going to be?
That the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will reverse Judge Robart and reinstate President Trump's executive order, because the 2 plaintiffs here, the 2 states, Washington and Minnesota, do not have the standing to bring an action on behalf of others. Others who are harmed have to bring that action directly.
Judge Napolitano, I don't know what we would do without you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be with you, and with that wonderful young man next to you.
There you go. See you soon, sir.
Thank you. I'm calling me young.